Everyone thinks they know the Philippines, but most never see this side of it. Before the crowds arrive, before the secret beaches flood Instagram, there are still places left. Hidden lagoons, empty islands, shores, where time forgot to change. This isn't just a list, it's a warning, it's an invitation. These are 7 places to see before they go viral, and you're about to discover them first. Bucas Grande, a name barely whispered outside the Philippines. Here, the ocean shatters into a maze of emerald lagoons and hidden caves. Paddle through limestone arches so low, even sunlight ducks. Float with stingless jellyfish in glassy water, like drifting inside a dream. Stalactites drip from cave mouths. Inside, your voice echoes, like it doesn't belong. Few travelers find it. Fewer still linger long enough to understand it. But change comes quietly. One resort, one road, one missed chance. There's even a secret chamber, submerged, that locals say only appears when the tide pulls back just right. If you're willing to journey deep into Surigau's last wild corners, Bucas Grande still waits. And if emerald lagoons leave you breathless, wait for the next destination, where an entire island chain still dreams untouched. You expected more islands, but some secrets climb higher. Where the sea ends, the sky begins, and the mountains remember. Banaue. You've seen rice fields before, but not like this. Here, the land is sculpted, by hand, by memory. The Ifugao carved these terraces 2,000 years ago, stone by stone, without machines, without blueprints, and they still work them, not for tourism, for survival. Mist drifts through valleys, drums echo from ridgelines, children chase carabaos between rows of green. There are no highways, just footpaths, woven hats, stories passed from mouth to mud. Stand still, and you'll hear it, water trickling from terrace to terrace, like the land is breathing. Most pass through, but the ones who stay find a different kind of silence, because these terraces aren't abandoned. They're alive. Wait for the next place, where even the tourist map stops short. Bantayan, you've heard the name, but not like this. Beyond the town centers and ferry docks lies the island's quiet heart. Here, palms lean into turquoise silence. Sand glows white under the early light. Mornings arrive on the backs of fishing boats, not delivery trucks. There are beaches without footprints, coves with names only locals still remember. One inlet disappears entirely at high tide. The trail to it a line of weathered stones through mangroves, marked only by birdsong. But roads stretch farther each year. One more resort, one more ad, one less secret. If you wander far enough north from Cebu's noise, you'll find Bantayan's lost edges still breathing. And if that makes you curious, wait for the next coastline, where tourists never even knew to look. Now, you're probably wondering, Bohol? Really? The land of chocolate hills? And busloads of Tarsier selfies? But this isn't the Bohol you know. Anda is Bohol's quiet rebellion, where sugar-white beaches stretch without umbrellas, where the water stays shallow for hours, where hammocks sway in the breeze, and no one's trying to sell you a dolphin tour. Children play in tide pools. Fishermen weave nets by hand. Time slows to a whisper. And if you walk past Canale's edge, far past where most tourists turn around, there's a coral trail that leads to a hidden inlet. No signs, just the sound of crabs scuttling between rocks. But even here, new roads are cutting inland. Hotels are being whispered into blueprints. Before Anda becomes another stop on the circuit, it still waits. And if Ander is Bohol's last secret stanza, wait for the next place, where cliffs fall into silence and stories are written in stone. Palaui, where the land ends and wilderness begins. Winds howl across jagged cliffs, the jungle swallows footpaths. A Spanish lighthouse still stands alone, watching an ocean no one can tame. There are no beachfront signs, no phone signal, no easy outs, just raw rock, crashing surf, and the weight of time. Follow the forest path past the lighthouse, and you'll reach a narrow opening in the cliffs, a tidal cave hidden beneath vines, where the water sings its own story. Some say, the storms here remember. Palaui hasn't been claimed yet, but the maps are closing in. If you come now, really come, you might still lose yourself in it. And if you think this was as wild as it gets, wait for the next island, where the journey to get there is part of what keeps it hidden. Camiguin, the island born of fire, 7 volcanoes, 1 winding road, and no easy way in. There's no direct flight, no tourist ferry waiting at the dock. To get here, you'll chase connections, plane to port, port to boat. Then you pray the weather plays along. Most don't make it. Most don't even try. But what waits? A sandbar called White Island, floating like a mirage. No trees, no shelter, just salt and sky. A waterfall named Katibawasan, hidden in a jungle fold, where the air hums cold and the mist never sleeps. And off the coast, a cemetery, sunken by fire. Its cross still rising from the sea, a monument to everything that used to be above water. Camiguin doesn't shout. It remembers. It simmers. And while most travelers look away, it waits. But if you thought this was the last untouched place, wait for where we're going next, where mist replaces salt and stories echo through hills. Lake Sebu, where mountains hold mirrors of water. Here, the Taboli people still weave dreams into cloth, not souvenirs, stories. Mornings here don't begin. They emerge as mist rolls across still water and drums echo softly from the hills. You don't hike here. You listen. You don't take pictures. You remember. And if you ask the right elder, they might lead you through a hidden forest trail, the one where the shamans walk before sunrise. No camera ever caught it, but you won't forget it. But roads are climbing the mountains now. Signal towers rise near sacred trees, and the stories may soon get overwritten. Lake Sebu is a memory still alive, but not for long. And if you think this was the last untouched place, wait for where we're going next. Beyond the postcards, beyond the hashtags, beyond the filtered sunsets and travel hacks, the Philippines still hides worlds that breathe, worlds few will ever touch, worlds most will never even hear of. But now, you saw them before they changed. But this isn't the end, just the edge, across oceans, where fjords carve through silence, where villages sleep beneath cliffs carved by ice. Another secret waits. Next, we chase the lost fjords of Norway.